My name is Amy Halston. I'm a freshman here at Lake Forest. And one thing I always say before I start these presentations, and I mean it, is please ask me any question that crosses your mind, no matter how inappropriate it is. I have had questions, oh my God, I've had every variety of questions that, run the gamut. And really, I would appreciate also, if you have questions for me after the presentation, please feel free to, seek me out in the cast or wherever you see me, or I'll give you my email address and you can send me an email. But I would really appreciate if you ask me and not ask other people. For instance, my roommate has told me people have come up to her and asked her questions about cerebral palsy. And she knows somewhat of the background, but not enough. It's better if you come to me, and I really appreciate it. I'd rather have people be aware of, myself and my situation than have to wonder. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you a little bit about what cerebral palsy is. Cerebral palsy can occur before, during, or shortly after birth. Cerebral palsy is a motor skill disorder caused by abnormalities in the part of the brain controlling muscle movement. It could occur in any ethnic group or gender, and it is rarely an inherited trait. Please note, cerebral palsy is not genetic, and it does not affect the cognitive abilities of any person. And this is me when I was a baby. I was born, well, we all know that. I was born 3 months early, so I weighed 2 pounds, 13 ounces. So I was a little bit smaller than the average baby, and I'll tell you why in the next slide. I was born on April 3rd, 1988. My original due date was July 1st. 3 months early, my mother's water broke, leaving me unprotected. When she arrived at the hospital, the doctors made a decision to leave me in my mother until my original due date. About a week into her stay, she developed an infection, and as they were crash C-sectioning me, my oxygen supply got cut off, damaging the part of my brain that controls muscle movement, which is the part of the cerebral cortex. This is me and my sister on the left. This is when I was about 3 months old, before I had a diagnosis of cerebral palsy, and you can see I'm just a normal, happy, curious baby. And now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about diagnosing cerebral palsy and my experience, my parents' experience of getting me diagnosed. At 3 months of age, my parents realized I was not reaching certain developmental milestones, such as rolling over. At 4 months, I was in physical and occupational therapy, and at 6 months, it was recommended that I see an expert who specializes in neurological disorders. As soon as my mom sat me on the examining table, it was apparent to the physician that I had a diagnosis of spastic diplegia cerebral palsy. And I think I forgot to mention, there are 4 types of CP, but for the purpose of this presentation, I'm going to focus on my diagnosis of spastic diplegia CP. And spastic diplegia CP means only 2 of the limbs are affected. So in my case, it's my legs and my trunk area, so my stomach area. And the way my doctors explained it to me is, instead of the part of my cerebral cortex that controls these muscle movements being smooth roadways, if you will, they are more like dirt pathways. So the message will sometimes get jumbled when I'm doing a movement, sometimes causing my muscles to tense, which I'll talk about more later. And this is just a chart I put in about average developmental milestones for babies. So you can take a look at that. This is me at age 7 at physical therapy in school. As you can see, as you can see, we're working on standing and some trunk support. And really, physical therapy has helped me become the person I am, as you'll hear about in the next slide. And physical therapy through school has helped me, even though I had to be pulled for some classes, it really helped me, maintain my physical ability. And I think it helped the kids understand more about my condition, cerebral palsy. Now I'm going to talk to you, because I'm sure you're all curious about what physical therapy is and what they do in physical therapy for me. Physical therapy is a program recommended by doctors for children with cerebral palsy and other physical disabilities. A person with cerebral palsy has tighter muscles. This occurs because the neurons fail to fire correctly to the muscles, making them tense. Physical therapy helps relieve some of this tightness. And as I said before, because my cerebral cortex doesn't send the message correctly, some of my muscles do get tight. So for example, in physical therapy, I'll work, first we'll stretch the hamstrings and the typical hamstring stretches and my adductors and flexors. And then I do something called the notomed, which is a bike, like a recumbent bike, but it's set up a little bit differently. It has foot straps and some trunk support, so I'm not leaning, and that helps relieve some of the tension. And I also use something, it's called the UEU, and people sometimes call it the cage, because it's literally a cage, and I know that sounds morbid, but they hook you in all these different wires, and they force you to use muscles you wouldn't otherwise use to try to make you stronger. And then occupational therapy helps with daily living activities such as tying shoes, teaching someone how to clothe themselves, feed themselves, write, or anything else needed. And I don't go to occupational therapy as of now. I did go for about 17 years. And I have to say, without occupational therapy, I learned so much through occupational therapy. I learned how to, dress myself. What else? I learned how to make my bed, I learned how to fold clothes, I learned how to put my belt on, and without that support of occupational therapy, I don't think I would be at college today. Also, no one's here from Pathways right now, but Pathways is where I go to physical therapy, and without Pathways support throughout my life, I would honestly not be the person that I am today. I can go there and I can let my guard down and be myself, and they can see what I can do. And then I'm just a normal college student. I do what every one of you do, and I don't break. I'm not fragile, so okay. Now that you know a little bit about my background, the background of cerebral palsy, I'm going to share what it's like living with a physical disability. I have lived a typical life. My mother and father and stepmom and stepdad have been great at making sure I've been mainstream. When my mother was posed with the question when I was in preschool age, should we put your daughter in preschool with for people with physical disabilities, or should we put her in mainstream school? And I say literally every day I think about this. Like, thank God my mother and father made the decision to put me in mainstream schools, because that shaped my life from today in mainstream classrooms. And thanks to their constant support through my life, I have been able to lead a very normal and full life. And this is me at age 4, just being a goofy kid. I'm probably, I'm just being silly. This is actually taken at my nanny's house, and my nanny helped us out for about 15 years, and we still talk to her today, and she's truly a very prominent figure in my life. She wanted me to be mainstream, and she, she was not scared to yell at me and be like, Amy, do it yourself. Pick your clothes up off the floor, get in the shower. She expected me to be like everybody else, and you know, I really thank her for that. And this is my 5-year-old birthday party in Arizona. Every spring break for about, I would say, 5 years, we went to Arizona to visit my grandma, and every year we would celebrate my birthday there. And one of the questions that people often have with having a physical disability is, how do I fly? What's the experience like? And really, the experience, you know, it's easy. I mean, one of the perks is I don't have to wait in the security line, so I, you know, go straight through the security lines and get on the plane. And you know, I do have a fear of flying, but that has nothing to do with, you know, my physical disability. That's just my crazy side coming out. And as far as other public transportation, you know, 6 months ago, I was very, and my mother and father and my family knows, I did not want to take public transportation. I thought it would put me in the stereotype of having a physical disability, and I tried my entire life to break free of that stereotype. And finally, I just said, you know what, if I want to be like any other kid and be independent and, you know, go to the doctor by myself, go to appointments, I have to learn to take public transportation. And that has really opened up doors. And how, on the contrary to what I thought, it helped me be more mainstream, not less. And this is me at age 5. I'm in the orange sweater with the dog. Just hanging out in my neighborhood. I've lived in my neighborhood for my entire life, and my parents have lived there for 23 years. And my neighborhood is just amazing. We all still, to this day, hang out in the summer. And every day after camp when I was young, the first thing I would do, I would run off the bus and go play with my neighbors. And you know, I went to normal day camp. I did have a counselor with me, though, because I do go slower across the grass. But just because I need an accommodation doesn't mean I'm any different. And I was talking to my neighbor the other day, who's here right now, actually, about how even though I need accommodations in life, so what? I might need a little extra help. I might need extra people in points in my life, but that doesn't mean I'm any different. It's just a, you know, new way of looking at life, and we have to realize there's gray areas in life. It's not all black and white. So. This is me at 6, just being, you know, a normal kid. I was obsessed with the Rugrats, and that's why I have my Rugrats, you know, sweatshirt on. And I was, you know, all I wanted to do in life is kind of break free of the stereotype of, oh, you know, that girl has a physical disability. She must not have a full life. She must stay at home, you know, with her family and watch TV all day. And that's really, you know, not true. I really just want to show people that I'm a person. I have feelings, and I like to be, you know, included and whatnot. And, you know, I really think that thanks to my parents, I've been able to do that. Sorry, this is good. This is me. This is my 7-year-old birthday party, just opening a present. Every year, you know, I would have a typical birthday party, send out the invitations, my class would come, and, you know, we would have fun. And this was actually an ice skating birthday party. And the next slide you'll see, I'll tell you more about that. So, I know most of you are probably thinking right now, how does she ice skate? How does she possibly have the ability and energy to do that? And honestly, I look at every new challenge as a way to prove to people that I could do anything. No one in my life, if someone told me I can't do something, even if I had to go behind their back, and my mother knows this very well, because I do this every day to her. You know, I go behind their back, and I prove to people that I, you know, can do things. And I think learning how to ice skate was a big success for me, and just taught me very early on that I was going to achieve. So, and this is me at 7, right before surgery. I had surgery at 7 because, like I said earlier on in the presentation, because the cerebral cortex sometimes sends the message jumbled, the muscles will tense, and sometimes the only way to relieve some of that tension is to perform surgery. And I had my adductors and hip flexors lengthened, and without that surgery, I wouldn't be as mobile. Before I had that surgery, it was very difficult for me to walk, and I had, instead of putting one foot in front of the other, I would cross like this. So that helped me have somewhat of a normal gait. And for those of you who don't know, gait is just the way we walk, our walking style. This is me at my 8th birthday party, and I believe the picture on the right of me standing independently, says a lot. Although I, to this point, haven't been able to walk independently, I've always just wanted to, I've known I've had a limitation, a difference, but I've always wanted to show people that although, I have a difference, I'm just as capable. And another question people often have is, will I ever be able to walk independently? And the truth is, I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm sure I do have the capabilities. If I was to go to physical therapy 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for a year, I'm sure it would be possible. But realistically, I have to decide what's the best use of my time. Is it a better use of my time to use the walker, or, to learn how to walk independently? And I, made the choice for right now that the walker's the best thing for me. And if I do learn how to walk independently one day, great, it's just another success in my life. Okay, that's okay. And this is me at age 8 for Halloween. Halloween was one of my favorite holidays. I was the one who got all decked out and dressed up, and I was always included in the school festivities. And everyone in elementary school saw me as me, because when you're young, when you go to elementary school and kindergarten, kids don't know, any better. They're like, oh, she has a cool toy, maybe I can play with it. So the kids I went to, kindergarten through 5th grade with really were, just like me for who I am. And at this point, at this age, I probably didn't even realize, I probably started to realize that I had a difference, but not so much. And this is me at age 9, rollerblading at my grandma's house again. All I wanted for Hanukkah one year was a pair of rollerblades, and I believe my dad and Pam got them for me, if that's right. And I begged and I begged and I begged, and we didn't know if I could skate. And all I wanted to do was, again, prove people wrong and show that nothing could hold me back. And sure enough, I put on those skates and my, very stylish knee pads, and started to skate, and, I just loved it. And this is me at Halloween 1998, so I was in 4th grade then, and I was a doctor. I think this is very, telling for my life. My mom is a nurse and my dad's a doctor, so they are both in the medical profession, and I think that's really helped me be who I am today, because they are so aware, they were so aware of the signs and symptoms of, a physical challenge or whatnot. And thanks to them, now I love learning about CP, and I'm a huge dork and sit in front of Discovery Health and watch Mystery Diagnosis all day. So, yeah, I love it. I love it. And then this is me a year later as a nurse, so I dressed up as both my parents. And this is my whole family at my sister's, I think it was 8th grade graduation dinner. And that's me with my hands up in the air, just being, probably obnoxious, because I tend to do that way. And in the corner right here, the man with the tie and the woman with the gray sweater and earrings is my dad and his wife. And then the woman with the straight, at the head of the table with the straight dark hair is my mom, and then next to her is my stepdad, Larry, and the rest of my family there. And, you know, my family has just always loved me for Amy and seen me as, you know, another person, you know. And as I get older, especially my brother doesn't let me be any different than any other kid. He encourages, you know, me to get out there and just be a kid. He talks to me like any other college student. He expects me to do, you know, normal college age things. So, this again is my mom, my sister, and I. And just again, my locker is not even shown in this picture. I just look like another awkward fourth grader, you know, going through that awkward stage. So I believe that's telling too. And this is my sweet 16, and this is my stepsister Karen. And I remember that day was so much fun. And my best friend Jessie, who's here right now, was there, and I will never forget that day. It was just a lot of fun. And, you know, one of the things in the invitation was bring a poem or, you know, a letter or a picture, and I still save those because those memories of how people have impacted me in my life have been very significant and made me who I am today. Alright, this is me in 2006 graduating. This is my friend Jessie is on the right, and then my friend Alyssa is on the left. And Jessie, again, who's here today, me and her are, you know, great friends. We're truly best, lifelong friends. We have, this sounds like straight, we just have this like bond that allows us to just let our guards down, and she knows what I need. She understands the cadence of my life. She knows if I drop something to pick it up off the floor. She knows to hold the door for me. She knows that it takes me, you know, 2 hours in the morning to get ready, and she's not ashamed to be like, hurry up, baby, get out the door. And, you know, I just truly like her honesty, and that's us right there with the flowers, graduating. And now the part you're probably all interested in is, this was my first year studies trip downtown before school started. We went to Millennium Park, and then we went to see the Old World Fairgrounds in Chicago. And I'm taking a piggyback right here. This is actually a funny story. I've always been one, I don't like to call attention to myself. I just like to be another face in the crowd. And I couldn't walk anymore. It was like 101 degrees, and I had walked like 12 miles. And Holly Swires, who is also here, made me take a piggyback ride. She said, "Amy, you have to do it," and I was resisting, and she made me do it. That was just another way of me coming out of my shell. So, yeah, and that's just all of us in Millennium Park, or some of us, just hanging out. And I think that's cool because it goes back to the Halloween picture when I was 8, just showing that, you know, I just never let my disability be a part of me. Or, you know, and then this is me working at Banner Day Camp. I worked there for 2 summers, and, you know, this is me just having fun on a hot day. And I believe this is, like, symbolic of the fact I don't break, you know. I am no more fragile than you or the next person. And I think that's one of the common misconceptions people have, is that I'm fragile, you know. People always ask me, oh my God, it's so cold, isn't it so hard for you? It's so hard for you to get across the ice. And the ice is difficult, but hey, it's life. I can't control the weather, so I might as well run with what I got. And this is me and one of my dearest friends, Emmy. We have been friends, you know, since the day we were born. My mom and her mom were best friends for 35 years, and thanks to them and their, like, unbreakable bond, we have this unbreakable bond to, you know, hopefully last forever. And I talked to her today. She's a year up abroad, and just having that bond, even though sometimes I don't see her for months at a time, is really special to me. So. And this is me and Jessie again on the right. And this is me and Jesse on New Year's, I think 2004 or 2005. And my dog Trusty, I have this abnormal obsession with my dog. I take her, me and Jesse, we take her for rides in the car. Did we buy her a sweater once? I think we bought her a sweater or something. And, my dog just sees me for me as well. And, I think it's amazing that pets, they don't have any, biases or whatnot. They just live their life as well. And then here's the part that you're probably most interested in, is what my experience has been like at Lake Forest College thus far. And my experience here has been absolutely amazing. I don't even think I have a negative thing to say. I have been included, and while I'm on the subject of included, there's a difference between inclusion and just accepting a person for a person. We all have issues going on in our life. Some of us can't walk. Some of us, have trouble seeing. Some of us, some of us have arthritis. Some of us can't see. So we must remember that even though my disability is very apparent, everybody has something in their life that is different and, not the same as everyone. So, and whenever I talk to my mother or my dad, my stepmom or stepdad, I always tell them, this is the first time in my life here at Lake Forest College, and I don't know why, that people they see me as me, they expect me to, go out and have fun and just be myself. And I'm living on I commuted last semester, and I made the decision to live on campus, and I did live with a roommate, and that's working out great. We're really, really close friends, and I love the experience of, learning how to live on my own. And even though it's harder, I have to say, as my mom knows, some days it's frustrating, and I call her hysterical crying, and come pick me up now, and throwing in the towel, and packing up my stuff, and, but I have to learn how to get through those hurdles and learn that I might need some extra help. I might have to have someone come into my house every morning and help me, pick up and say, Amy, is the cleaner, is this dirty? And, put it in the hamper for me and do my laundry. But it's good that I'm learning this now and, learning that I could be like everybody else and also balance, my limitations with being like everybody else. And I live in Cleveland Young, so that's also very great for me because there are 26 residents, and I love all 26 of them, so, and again, they just see me for me, and I just have a good time with them, so. And this picture is at the all-campus party, the Halloween dance, and that was just a great time. And then this is the final slide. This was me. Where was this? This was a night, I believe it was for Latinos Unidos. My friend Jaime and Mandy, who were there, and they probably took this picture. And it's just me just being ridiculous. I don't even know. And this is my favorite quote, and any of you who have been on my Facebook know. If opportunity doesn't knock, build the door. And Milton Berle said this. And I really think it's true. If opportunity doesn't knock, you have to build your doors, per se. For example, for me, my parents could have made the decision to say, oh, poor Amy, we're just, we're going to give her everything, and we're not going to make her, work, and we're just going to let her sit and watch life pass me by. And they helped me begin building the doors, if you will. And now that I'm older, I have to take on the job of building the doors and making sure that I have everything I need. And I have no doubt if I keep up my perseverance throughout life, I have no doubt that I'm going to live a normal life. I expect to get married, have children, have a house, have a job. I have no idea what my job's going to be, but I'll figure it out. And I just want you all to see that I'm an average kid, even though I might need, a little more help, or it takes me longer to get somewhere. so what? Everyone has their, thing. So that's, what I wanted to get across